Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Fallout Bar after the semi-finals of the PDC World Grand Prix for 2025. We've got no Dan Simpson tonight. He's having a little bit of a night off, bless him, on a Saturday night. So it's just me and Corwin, the brothers, back together as a duo rather than the trio of the last few nights. How are you doing, Corwin? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Yeah, it sort of feels back to normality after a few nights where we've had a Dan Simpson third wheeling. So it's good to be here and two enjoyable semi-finals, despite arguably both being a bit one-sided. Maybe I thought all four players turned up to the party. At least there wasn't any massive write-offs tonight.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think did feel like one of those nights where, yes, they were relatively one-sided, but it wasn't for the lack of a performance from the man on the receiving end of it in both games. It was just the fact that the two Lukes are bloody good, aren't they?
Yeah, that was exactly it, and they showed why they 1 and 2 in the world. They've also showed, I think, why everybody wants to watch them play darts against each other as often as possible. Just hopefully they both bring this form into tomorrow night, and we're in for an absolute belter, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if we can get it some of tonight into tomorrow for the final, it will be, yeah, like you say, an absolute cracker. Right, well, there's quite a few in the chat room already as well, which is always nice to see. Scott's in, Greta Shawman's in, James, Daniel, Paul, Dan, and Mark, all in there already getting involved. If you're trying to get involved and you can't, make sure you click the subscribe button because it will not let you comment unless you do. Let's get into it then and talk about the games. I have no idea what you two predicted last night, but I've got a feeling it may well have been the outcomes that we got, essentially. I was meant to be on with you as well last night. I fell asleep on the sofa. It's been a long week of work, and I was absolutely done before about sort of 9:30. So, yeah, so tough one for me last night. So, not actually seeing what you predicted, but first game, Luke Humphries up against Danny Nopper, and he got off to some start, did Luke, didn't he?
Yeah, funny enough, I did predict this one being a 5-3 win for Humphries, but I actually thought the power would come towards the end of the game and they'd be nip and tuck in the first 3 or 4 sets, and then Luke would run away with it. What I didn't expect was Luke to run into a 3-0 lead and sort of be having to stop a Nopper fight back. But it was interesting, wasn't it? As in, I think it was the 5th set where Noppert broke in the third leg to throw for the set and couldn't hold it. As in, obviously, I don't know if it would have made any difference to the final outcome, but 3-2 is a very different game to 4-1. And yes, obviously, he went back to back in the next 2 sets. But I did feel like that 5th set was a turning point, because once you get to 4, obviously you're not there, but you're knocking at the door, and your opponent has got to be perfect for 4 sets in this instance. But for those first 3 sets, Luke Humphries was just unplayable, and he was doing things. I think we've all been waiting for him to do and expecting him to do, and we sort of discussed it last night when it came to it. Would you be able to raise the game? And Dan and myself sort of both agreed that, yeah, I think he's got the gears there. He just hasn't had to use them yet. And I know his average did dip a bit towards the end of the game. I say dip a bit, it's still in the 90s.
But he's averaging about 112 at the start.
Exactly, yeah. So it was one of those games where Noppert left himself too much to do, and again, didn't do much wrong. Just Luke Humphries was playing out of this world, and it was good to see him not throw the towel in, because I think 3-0 down is quite easy. You can just roll over and say thanks, I'll take my paycheck and go home. But he made a game out of it, and
starting to feel like it was possibly one of those games, wasn't it, where it's just get me out of here. I've sort of had enough at this point. But he did sort of stick in there and fought, and like you say, Humphries was just on it from the start. 14 180s in there. Obviously kicked off with a couple of big checkouts in the first set as well. He did the 155 in leg two, and then a 108, I think it was, to wrap it up 3-0 in that first set. It just, I think in both of them, like the scoring was great, the finishing was good. It was all round. They both played well here, and just not, but again, hurt a little bit by just not as good at getting in to the legs as they.
Yeah, and I think what we saw tonight as well was the gulf in class maybe between the top two in the world and the rest of the pack, as in both Noppert and Clayton missing doubles and crucial legs, maybe fifth legs of a set or slow getting off, and both Luke's not being that careless, and it proved costly to both losers in the end. But that's the thing in this game, isn't it? Especially some of these latter rounds when you've only got the big boys left. As in, if you take 3, 4, up to 6 darts to get off, you've pretty much lost the leg. Barring hitting a 9 dart and then going out in 15, you've lost the leg. So it's brutal, but I think it just shows the importance of maybe adapting when your opening double doesn't go your way, and so that you're wasting 3 or 4 darts to get off. You're going off in 1, maybe 2, and then you're straight in the leg, and your pressure's on the opponent. And I think that's what Luke Humphrey did very well, was he never took his foot off the gas. Even when Noppert came back into the match, it wasn't the case that Humphreys dropped off this planet. Noppert just raised his game and he found another level to get back into it. So no, so credit to both really for entertaining us in what an enjoyable game, I thought.
Yeah, I thought it was as well. I thought it was really good, to be honest. And like you say, it felt like at 4-3 there was an opportunity to really make it close, but then Humphreys just upped that level again, and 105 average in the final set just didn't really give Noppert a sniff. And yeah, unfortunate for him, but obviously a good run to a semi-final. And the one thing I do think with him, I can't get my head around why he keeps starting on tops, because he's struggled with the weight on it all week. He's been low on it more often than not. And if you are struggling with the weight of it, surely it makes sense to just go for one of the darts on the side of the board, where if you lose the weight, you still got a chance of getting in by hitting the dog below it.
Yeah, and maybe this is my pub dad's brain thinking here, but realistically, hitting a 9 darter is irrelevant.
Yeah,
in this format, it's about winning a leg. If you to aim for an area as opposed for a specific target, as long as the double goes in, it doesn't make a difference what it is. A double one is as valuable as a 180 in this format.
Into the leg. Like that's all you need.
That's all you need. So I do think sometimes, obviously they've got their favourite doubles. They throw hundreds, thousands of darts at that double in a year. But for this week, just find a double. Just find a double, get in, and then
just get yourself in.
Yeah, because once you're in the leg, the pressure is on your opponent. He has to start chasing. And yeah, as you say, he really struggled on tops tonight, which is sort of uncharacteristic, because he's one of those players that once he finds it, he's usually quite prolific on it. But just didn't seem to be his friend tonight. And playing Luke Humphreys, you've got to get all the allies you can on the dartboard.
Yeah,
and
exactly,
you're even hoping the wire comes
to nothing before you even start.
You're even hoping the wire's your friend and takes a few of his darts out. But I think I liked Noppert's attitude tonight. I sort of his fist pumping more. He seemed to be enjoying the occasion, even when he was sort of 2-3-0 down. And I thought, well, that's maybe a player who knows that his run might be coming to an end. So he's going to just enjoy the occasion and celebrate the fact that he has made a major semi-final, and that's a good result for him this week, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a massive result for him. I think he's up to number 10 in the world now off the back of that as well, off the back of that run. And he's scoring now for me. It seems like it's really sort of he's found another gear with it. I think you mentioned he's slightly quickened his throw up a little bit, and it seems to have just helped him get a bit of a rhythm on the trebles. Yeah, I think good for him. But yeah, back to Luke Humphries. I mean, someone mentioned it before, sort of getting a bit tired of watching these two sort of playing out finals and winning everything. But we want to see the best play the best, don't we? And that's what we're getting once again.
And the problem is, if you're getting bored of them now, you probably should stop watching dance for the next 10, 15 years, because I think
they
we
are
see a
not
lot
going
of it.
anywhere.
No, they're not. And I get it's getting a bit samey, maybe, but I don't think we've seen the best Luke Humphries this week yet. I think there's more to come from him tomorrow night, and I think he's going to raise his game because, well, because he's defending money from 2 years ago, and he needs every penny he can get to stay ahead of Littler in the
that's one thing
in the rankings. But I just think they bring the best out of each other. As in this sort of, I think they're both very mature for their age in the way they speak and the way they conduct themselves. But I think they're also very different players, and I think they'll just thrive playing on that stage against each other. And I genuinely think they're bringing the best out of each other, and I hope it goes deep, because the longer the game goes on, I think the better the final will be.
Yeah, definitely. I'm fully with you on that one. Let's not get onto it yet, actually, because we have got a clip from Luke Humphries. So let's hear from him, and then we will talk about the second semi-final.
I just splashed my face a bit of water and said, I've got to fire myself up. Sometimes the body gets a little bit too relaxed, and I kind of a little bit like I'm pushing them. And I said to myself, now or never, you really have to, show Danny you're still really wanting to win this, because if I come out, 4-3 down, thinking, well, I've still got 2 sets, and I think I can afford to lose this one. I didn't want to lose that set. I wanted to win it, and I come out a little bit more aggressive. Come on, get my head on, get that energy level up a little bit, and it seemed to work. I've won the last 3 major finals I've been in, so hopefully it goes well for me tomorrow. If it doesn't, then you have to accept it that you're going to have to lose some major finals. But I feel really confident, hoping that tomorrow goes really well for myself.
Interesting that he sort of mentioned that he came out fired up and sort of trying to get himself going a little bit more at that point. And I think it was noticeable that he looked like he was trying to be a little bit more deliberate with his throw before that point. And whether that just trying to slow himself down a little bit, almost just lost a bit of that energy and a bit of that sort of fire, and led to the drop off a little bit. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, it seemed to sort of he got to 4, and he was comfortable. I think he expected to win the 6th set and walk off the stage a 5-1 winner. Obviously, not put other ideas, and it's funny, isn't it? As in, we often hear about how breaks can benefit players, and after that, Sam said it was probably the perfect time for Luke Humphries to have a break, because he could compose himself. As he said, he checked a bit of water himself, gave himself a good talking to in the mirror, and then he comes out and hits a 1-3-6 out and a 1-10 out, and that's that then, isn't it? But I do think he's doing all the right things, as in he's sort of gone under the radar a bit, because I don't say he's been on the easier side of the draw, maybe. That's to sort of try and sound diplomatic and not disrespectful to any players. I
think you're right. I think he's we spend all week talking about Littler and talking about Gezi and in that other side of the draw, and it has almost felt a little bit like the world number one has not been the focus of everything, and he's just been allowed to ease his way into this. He's looked focused all week. He's looked like he's up for it. He's just had that opportunity to come in and just play his game and not have too much else going on pressure-wise, and he's got better and better as the week's gone on.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that he beat Aspinall the first night. Sort of that game's sort of been forgotten out because of what's happening on the other side. But yeah, and I think that suits Humphries at the moment. I obviously he's probably feeling a bit aggrieved being world number one, that the or the focus isn't on him. But at the same time, I think that just gives him freedom to do what he wants, and he can just let his darts do the talking. And then when he does make the final and faces Luke Littler, he'll be back to being the sort of topic of conversation again, and will still just let his darts do the talking and perform better than I think we've seen him perform all week, as he'll have to if he does want to regain this title.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, it is Luke Littler that he will play in the final, second semi-final, 5-1 victory for Luke Littler. But I mean, it didn't feel a 5-1 as much, did it? Like it felt like Johnny played better than the scoreline suggests, and he pushed him for a lot of the time. But the levels from Luke when he needed them were just silly again.
Yeah, and I think the pattern here was if Clayton wins the first leg of the set, then Luke Littler wakes up.
Yeah,
and I think that was the case for the first four sets. It was just the case that in my head I was thinking, if Clayton's going to win this game, he needs to start legs better than Littler and then hit a lot of 180s.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he did neither. And whilst he was
far off on the starting the legs better. I mean, he was 50% to 51% for Littler in terms of getting into the legs. But like you say, that he didn't follow that up with the power scoring that we saw from Luke.
No, and I think when Clayton won this title, I think he was on something like 70% for starting the legs over the tournament, and that was sort of the form I think you need to beat Littler because he switches and makes it look so easy and gets off with whichever double he wants to go at. I think he was sort of constantly under pressure, and I do feel that Clayton looked like a player who knew things weren't going right early on. Now, whilst he never gave up, Littler was doing things on the dartboard that you just got to admire, really, and just dust it off and say, well, he was better than me tonight, and that's that.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's not one that Johnny will sort of look back on and as like, oh, I could have done this, I could have done that. I don't think whatever he had done, it would have really mattered. I think the levels were there for Littler to go through the gears if he had to as well. Paul just mentioned that better than Littler to win a more than 85. Yeah, that bet has been available around that price for most of this week when Littler's been playing, and I took advantage of it earlier in the week. It's just a stupid price, to be fair, but more than happy for them to keep offering it.
Yeah, certainly. I'd imagine a few would have been happy seeing that sort of numbers last night. Oh, for tonight, I should say.
Well, yeah, that's it. Yeah, in terms of the performance, like I say, there was the 1-6-1 early on in this game. There's that second leg, I think, after Johnny had won the first leg, and there's almost a bit of like one-upmanship on Humphreys, even though they weren't playing in the same game. It's just like you hit a 1-5-5 in the second leg, I'll hit a 1-6-1. It's just goes slightly better than him. Like you say, the real sort of not turning point, but the end point in this game was Johnny losing that fourth set, because he had opportunities there. He was 2-1 up in that set, and if he could have got over the line, it would have been huge. And at 2 apiece, you think, right in the game now, pressure's back on Littler. He can't just relax and play his game like he wants to. He's going to have to be put under it a little bit more. But that 140 from Littler to win the set was a little bit special, wasn't it?
Oh, especially off the back of Clayton hitting the 137 to leave the 32 was in. I think in that leg, Clayton missed his first start. He then went double 16, single 20, 140, 140, 137, and doesn't get a shot to win the leg. So I think sometimes you've just got to
just on his own throw as well.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you just got to laugh and be like, it's one of those things. And it was one of those as well. You knew once the first treble landed that he was going to take it out. As in, I think he did the same with Price with that 152. As in, a few times he's sort of hit the first treble, and you know with how it's sitting, it's the perfect marker, and you fancy him to hit any double he throws at. So I think,
he is better at following a first start than anyone else in the world.
Oh, definitely, and I think that's why the gulf is there, and it's probably increasing between Luke's and the rest of the field. Is their ability to follow that first start so brilliantly and just smashing a 140, 180 for fun. And that sort of, again, similar to the first game, had Clayton won this set, I'm not saying he'd have won the game, but it'd have certainly made it more interesting, and maybe just put a bit of pressure on Luke, because once he went 3-1 up, he was in cruise control then, and he reeled off 6 legs on the trot to finish it off quite easily. But again, similar to Noppert, I think Clayton can be very happy and very look back at this week with positivity. I think it's been a good week for him. He showed glimpses of what he can do, and he's getting back up to the top 4, and he's smiling again, and he sort of alluded to that in a few interviews across the week, that the smile's back, that makes me dangerous. And I think he's got sort of bigger ambitions. Obviously, winning a major is huge, but I think he's looking long term here now, and sort of the next 3-4 years of his career before, or however long he wants to carry on, because obviously he's the wrong side of 50. So yeah, I think this is just a stepping stone for him in his goal of getting back to the top 4, or whatever he wants to see himself get to, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's it. It's about building up, and then, like you say, he's just going to keep giving himself opportunities to win big tournaments as well, because of how he's playing and what he's doing. And speaking of him, there's a little bit of talk in the group chat of he's counting on 309. I'm fine with it on that one. That's one of the ones where I don't think he's miscounting. It's not like him going 20s on 265 or something like that. Like, he's got to hit 2 trebles till the finish. So if you prefer throwing at 20s than 19s, then going at that and just backing yourself to hit the first 2 treble 20s, I'm absolutely fine with, and then just switching for the 19s on the last start. Either way, you've got to hit 2 in a row, whichever way you go on it.
Definitely. As in, it's not the way I'd go. I'd start on the 19s, just because
I start on the 19s every visit, so it doesn't change anything for me.
Just because if you hit the treble, it's an extra way of getting to a finish. But yeah, you've got to hit 2 trebles whichever way you go. But I just think traditionally now you see players starting the 19s just to give them that buffer of, if they hit the treble, they've got the option of staying down there for the 25, or if they hit the single, they can go up for 2 treble 20s. I'm not surprised he went that way, because he's reluctant to switch at the best of times. So
yeah, that's the thing. I just think, like, for him, he knows he's got to hit 2 treble 20s if he's going to do it realistically. And if he, like, I just think if he starts on the 19s and ends up scoring 99, like, he's still not left to finish. Like, he's still got to go up there and hit 2 treble 20s regardless. So yeah, I just think starting on 20s for him on 309, I'm absolutely fine with it. It's not one of the ones where I sort of look at it and go, that's one where you definitely should be switching. I think that for that one, it's sort of fine. If it was, like I say, if it was 265 and he's just throwing at 20s, then it's stupid. But that's certainly not one for me. But I'm sure there'll be plenty of people that tell us that I'm wrong on that one.
I don't think you're wrong. He's playing percentages, isn't he? And he throws what?
It only looks bad because he's hit the treble 20 with the last dart both times and left himself with 169.
169, yeah, of course, yeah. And I think when you're sort of checking 9 darts out of 12 at the same target in every leg you throw at, you sort of it makes sense. It's just, I think I'd play percentages personally, just because I'm not as good as Johnny Clayton as a darts player.
Yeah, that's very fair. We have not got a clip from Luke Litley yet. The problem with these sort of shorter shows when we've only got 2 games to talk about, that even the hardest working man in darts, the famous Mr. Phil Bars, is not able to get himself through. He's probably still doing the interview, to be honest, now as we're going on. So that will be in full.
Knowing Luke Littler, he's probably saying, yeah, happy with how he's played. He played very well. Clayton wasn't at his best, but he didn't give him a chance to get in, and he's looking forward to playing Luke in the final tomorrow. All words to those effect, but obviously, when it's up on our socials,
it's sort of interchange with, like, I don't know, probably throw in like kebab, FIFA, Xbox, something along those sort of lines, and then I think that probably covers it off. To be fair, I think we've got that for you. But yeah, it will be up in full as ever, along with the Humphreys one, which will also be in full on the channel. So once you finish listening to us, you pop yourself over there and you may be able to get it. He's actually just appeared in front of my face as the famous Mr. Phil Bars in the background. So we might even get it before we're done. If we do, we'll play it before we're finished. But that is basically it for the week. Now we are on to the final prediction for the week. Obviously, this is your chance in the chat room to get involved as well, and basically tell us who you think's going to win it. It is best of 11 tomorrow, 1st to 6 for those as good at maths as Dan Simpson is. So, time for the predictions. If anyone puts in that Luke's going to win, I am kicking you out of the chat room.
Yeah, banned. Lifetime ban.
I just boot you out. I don't even know if I can do that, to be honest. I'm not sure if it's an option. But we will come to you first, Mr. Carwyn Evans.
Well, that's all I'm hoping for.
Where are you going?
Well, yeah, my main hope is that it goes 11 sets, because I think if that's the case, we have been treated to the game of the tournament, and possibly one of the greatest games we will have seen and we will see for a long time.
That we don't do a fallout after the final, so it doesn't matter if it goes on all night either, which was obviously getting a little bit of an issue tonight with the fact of the starting after 8 o'clock as well, which I assume was down to the Super League Grand Final that was on Sky as well, or it could have just been. There was also Oldham against Barrow on, and maybe that had a lot of viewers before, and that they sort of needed
both big matches.
Who knows?
But yeah, what's going to happen? As in, I think Luke Humphreys plays better than he's played all week, but I don't think it's enough tomorrow night. I think the fact that Luke Littler did what he did against Van Veen in the opening round proves that he's got that sort of limiter in his locker this week and is capable of doing it. I do think we'll be treated to 180s for fun, but Luke Littler wins. I want the last set decided, but I don't think we're going to get it. I think it's going to be 6-3, and I'd be disappointed with a 6-3 result for Luke Littler.
Get the extra 2 sets.
Yeah.
Can we please have just make this happen by playing unbelievably well, both Lukes? Can we please have 55 legs of darts? Let's have a lot.
Yeah, that would make, that would be lovely. I would love that.
Not asking for much. I just want you to play every single possible leg.
Even if they don't have to, even if the set's over 3-0.
What's that?
Even if the set's over 3-0 in legs, just play the other 2 for the shit.
Yeah, we'll just do it. We'll just make sure that we get the full lot in there. In terms of predictions in the chat room, I'm just basically filling a bit of time while I decide which way I think it's going to go. Daniel's got Littler 6-4, 6-4 for Humphreys for Plenyon. Who else have we got? Scott's got Littler 6'5". He's giving you what you want there. Kieran's got it 6'4" for Humphreys, 6'3" Littler for Paul, and Andy's got it 6'2", 9 darter and Big Fish to win it. All for that. I'm all for that if that was to happen.
All for that, apart from the scoreline, maybe. If it's a bit closer and we had all
Yeah.
that as well, then it'd be amazing.
Oh, absolutely. That's what we want for the 55th leg, is we want a 9 darter finishing on the Big Fish. Right. What am I gonna do?
I guess as well, the added incentive for Littler is, as Rob's put in the comments, as in if he wins, then it's the World's UK Match Play and the Grand Prix. So he's got that.
The proper Grand Slam. Whoa,
Yeah.
you can't say that. Sky will be round at your door for that. No way they'll let you get away with that. I think that Humphreys wins. And I think it's 6-5. I think it's going to go all the way. I think it is going to be one of those games. But I just think that just got a feeling that he ups it again and gets in more often first dart than we will see from Littler. I think which game was it? Not last night, the night before, and he felt like he got in with 1-5-2 basically every visit almost. I've got a feeling that we might see something along those lines from Luke Humphreys tomorrow, which just allows us to have a spectacular game and basically just 6-5 Humphreys. We get what we want. We get a load of darts, a really good game. Rob's gone 100%. There is nothing surer than that, Rob. Like he's not even in the car yet, but I reckon he's already queuing it up.
Apparently, he drives home the long way around, so he can listen to them. Listen to more
the
songs.
Full playlist in.
Yeah.
Would not surprise me one little bit, and I would imagine as soon as he gets in the house, he shouts at Alexa and puts it on there as well.
And the lights come on. The Christmas lights come on.
Yeah, it's all linked together. Christmas lights up all year round. And while we're bashing him for his choice of music and his love of Christmas, we'll give him some credit because he's got the Littler clip in for us. So let's listen to that, and then that is us done for tonight.
Yeah, very excited. Obviously, it's been very different this week, double start, so anyone can win it. But another Luke and Luke final doesn't get boring.
Do you owe him?
I owe him.
For
Premier League, yeah. Obviously, that's the last one we met in, other than New Zealand. But yeah, on the major stage, I owe him one tomorrow night. Yeah, it's huge. Obviously, this is one of 4 or 5 majors left on the calendar. And obviously, I want to tick it off my first final, and obviously, I really want to win it. Luke's been here and done it all before, so he knows how to win the Grand Prix final. But like I said, as long as I hit them doubles, I'll win.
Yeah, I mean that is generally the way that it works. Like,
yeah, fighting talk, though, I like it, and he owes him one.
Owes him
love
one.
it.
Yeah, it's like I said straight away. Yeah, not boring.
Yeah,
no, it just isn't boring, and it's just the way it's it's obviously different this week. Double in, anyone can win it, but yeah, it's us two again.
Repeat.
What else have we had there? He's only lost one game when the match has gone longer than 20 legs. I mean, he's only feels like he's only lost one game ever, basically. Like he doesn't get beat very often. But I did predict it when he did lose that one game that he ever lost, when it was against Johnny Clayton.
Cam, I brought that up last night.
You've got to do it. I brought it up every day this week. And
when predicting a Clayton win against Littler, I said I'm basing this on the expertise of Cam, who did predict.
That's it. Cam, who was fast asleep on the sofa at that point. rather than being on to take the credit for it. Can we have Andy asks, can we have us two on more often? We're on basically every Fallout bar. I don't know whether he's talking about the live lounge on a Monday evening.
I've got pub darts on Monday, so
You've got pub darts and
Monday's out for me.
tired. I haven't got all the time. I do it occasionally when Dan Simpson's sunning himself in Dubai and things because he doesn't invite me along. So
Yeah, life for him, eh?
that's it. Old Dan Pellegrino, he lives it up. But yeah, we're just waffling now. We are done for tonight. It feels quite a short one, under 37 minutes. Anyone in the old betting markets there, the under doesn't land very often on this show. It's usually an overs. But yeah, thank you everyone as always for getting involved in the chat room. You make it what it is. But that has been the Fallout Bar after the semi-finals of the PDC World Grand Prix. Well done. That is us done for the week.
Yeah.
So all your reaction on Monday on the live lounge when Dan and Phil will be back. I'm not sure if you got anyone on with them because they've not given us that information. But yeah, tune in as ever then, and they'll be going through what's sure to be an unbelievable final. Thanks everyone, and we will see you very soon.